I just want to give a start with a brief introduction about myself and would like to understand about your background also. So, my name is Nitin. I'm
Yeah,
into SAP since 12 years. Okay, and into warehouse and logistics, I'm working since 10 years. Okay, so I've done on multiple implementation projects into warehouse and logistics. Presently I'm working on the OTM also, SAP integration with Oracle Transportation Management. I have or implemented two EWM implementation project and one upgrade project that is presently running. Okay, apart from that I'm into this EWM support activities also. I'm working with a packaging firm that's a multinational packaging firm, okay, and based out in India uh, and operating from Pune, Maharashtra. So that's a little brief about myself and basic understanding of the warehouse management in SAP and EWM. Okay, what processes we have in warehouse management and EWM, why warehouse management comes into the picture, okay, and why after warehouse management that is running since 2 decades, why SAP thought of to bring EWM into this SAP world or into this SCM world. So let me know if you all can see my screen.
yes, I can see.
Okay. So this is the course content. Okay, you can well, I think you already have the course content now available on the website, institute website. So you can go through that also. But here is just high level the things that we will be covering in this EWM course. Okay, so
Hmm.
it's basically about the basic introduction of EWM, then how EWM is integrate with central system we call it as ECC or ERP system. Okay, so
Hmm.
this ECC system is basically the system that is already running. Okay, and I think it's running since 3 decades, I believe. Okay, with basic modules like material management, warehouse management, FI, sales distribution, project systems, okay, costing objects and all. So for EWM, we have to know integrate this with basic ERP system. Then the organizational element, how the entire EWM is organized. Okay, what is the how the structure of EWM is now set up into the system in the SAP system. What are the basic master data that is required in order to set up the EWM system or to work into the EWM system. Okay, then apart from that we have warehouse process types. Okay, so for each and every movement, okay, to track each and every movement in the warehouse in EWM especially, we use warehouse process types. Okay, like maybe no her uh, the person who is into SAP, he knows that no, we basically use movement types. So in SAP, for every movements, okay, to move the material from good receipt to quality inspection or good receipt to the racks or to the storage type, we basically use different movement types. Okay, in material management, but here in EWM we basically call it as warehouse process types. So how to define those warehouse process types, what are the different processes that we are using in warehouse, and how to know to manage those processes, we basically use it by mapping the warehouse process type. Then we'll discuss about the good receipt process, how the good receipt process perform in EWM. Okay, so it is more to be a process driven approach. What is this process driven approach will come later on this. Okay, in EWM. So the basic good receipt process. Okay, how the good receipt performs in EWM, then the good issue process, how the basic good issue process perform, then storage location control. So we have this no storage location control like process driven and layout oriented. So process driven means if we have a process in between, okay, to bring the material into the warehouse, okay, from good receipt to quality inspection to the rack. So these are the process driven. So how the process maps into the EWM system and how we basically drive in into the SAP system. This is how we will look into the details of this. into the storage location control. Same, we have the layout oriented control where the warehouse structure is changing. Okay, where we have, you know, a different structure, like we have the material and the ground floor, and we need to take it into the first floor. And to take the material to the first floor, we basically use lifts. Okay, so lift here is known as the layout oriented storage control. So when the layout of the warehouse is getting changed, so how we map those things into the system. Don't take too much into this, just I'm giving a very high level. So once we know gradually start into the EWM, then you know basically start understanding the concept and the nomenclature or the jargons of EWM. Okay, just I'm just taking you through the course content as of now. So then we have warehouse order creations. Warehouse order creation means whenever we are moving the material from one place to another. Okay, in EWM system creates a warehouse orders. Okay, so how those orders gets created, what are the configurations and settings needs to be done, we will check into that. Then posting change, to move material from quality inspection to block stock, from block stock to unrestricted stock. Okay, we basically use posting change. Some ad hoc movement types we basically use in EWM. So we directly, you know, move the material from one place to another place, but we do not have any process defined for this. Okay, ad hocly we want to move the material. So for that we have this, you know, ad hoc movements. Then some of the important concepts of EWM is basically quality inspection. So in EWM we basically use quality engines. We map those engines in order to perform this quality inspection process. Another important process in EWM is basically the production process, how the production happens. Okay, how EWM plays an important role in this production process, how we perform the staging. Okay, I'll come to these, you know, jargons like staging, production into detail later when we go into the specific topics. Okay, how the consumptions is being placed, from where we are picking the material and where we are consuming those. So all this information we basically track in this in EWM. Then physical inventory. Physical inventory is basically counting the material quarterly, or yearly, or, you know, once in a 6 months. So just to, you know, keep a track that whatever the material that are physically lying in the warehouse, it should meet the records in the SAP. Means whatever the entries we have made in SAP for that material, for that quantity, like material ABC has, you know, 10 quantities in SAP system, but when I'm counting those material physically, I'm going into the warehouse and counting those material physically, I found that ABC material has 12 quantities. Then how can I now fix those things into the system? So those things we will look. Then slotting is another important concept of EWM that most of the warehouse are not, most of the companies are not using as of now, but yes, in future they will start using. So slotting is basically rearrangement of, no, of goods based on the EWM algorithms. EWM has their own algorithms on the basis of which, no, EWM tells the users that this is the best place to keep this material. So suppose material is already lying in some other location. Okay, after running this slotting process, EWM basically runs some of the algorithms in the background, and based on those algorithms, the EWM provide the best optimum place for that material to be placed. Okay, so that's why we call it as slotting or rearrangement of material, because after this slotting we have to rearrange the materials within the warehouse. Post processing frameworks, these are basically used for print. Okay, so we want to print the forms. Okay, whenever we are moving the material from one place to another place, in the background the system will create a warehouse order, and against those orders, if we want to print the forms, then how we will print those. So this post processing framework basically helps in doing that. In SAP we are basically use NACE and NAST. These are the transactions that we are using. Okay, like message output type and all these things we are using in SAP simple modules like material management. But in EWM, the same thing, we basically do it through this post processing framework, where we are doing a lot of settings in the background in order to print the forms. Then we have labor management, that how well we can plan the labor. Okay, in this, and the settings related to the labor management. Then the yard management, is basically about incoming and outgoing of the vehicles or the transportation unit. We call it as vehicle as a transportation unit sometimes. Okay, so check in and check out of no, trucks or vehicles in the warehouse, and placing of material in the warehouse is basically done under the yard management, so we will be covering that. Then we have radio frequency process, RF process. So EWM has integrated RF process. So it is an inbuilt functionality of EWM. So we use this RF to scan the material. Okay, so we have the materials with us. Okay, on those materials we have the barcodes available. So we generally scan it, scan those materials, and those the entire information gets feed into the system. So instead of typing the material name and the quantity and each and every detail into the system, we can simply just scan the things, and all the information related to the material gets captured into the system, and then accordingly we can process those things in order to move the material from one place to another, or during the inbound or during the outbound. Inbound means when we are bringing the material into the warehouse or into the storage location, that is known as inbound. And outbound, when we are moving the material out from the warehouse, or when we are issuing the material to the customer, and for that we need to pick the material from the warehouse. So that is basically the outbound flow. Then handling special products. So how we can perform the activities when we have the serial number activated into the system. Okay, then value added services. This is some of the unique process of EWM, how the value added service works. Value added service means that before delivering material to the customer, if you want to do some special labeling on the materials, okay, before delivering it to the customer, if you want to add some labels, we want to print something, we want to type something on the material like our company logo or something, that is basically known as value added service. So these things we basically perform in the value added packaging. Before delivering it to the customer, if customer have certain requirements that we need to pack this material before delivering, and we want to pack it into the cartons, or we want to pack it into the bubble paper or something, then accordingly we can pack those things. Okay, labeling and value added service both are same thing, so I need to remove that part. Then kitting is basically another process that is more related to the production process. So in this case we have we have you can say different operations, four different operations. So the material will first go to first operation, where we are now producing some semi-finished goods, and then it will move to the second operation, and from there it will now again move into the or converted into the semi-finished two goods. Likewise, now we are then it will move to the third operation and fourth operation in order to make the final finished goods. Okay, so this is the kitting process in short. Then analytics about the EWM, we have the EWM monitors. Under that monitor we have different analysis, okay, tools and other things that we will check in detail, okay, when we cover this particular session. So this is at a high level, this is the course content of EWM that we will be looking. Okay, and then this is basically how SAP, if people are now looking or pursuing the certification, this is how the SAP has divided the entire course, or you can say the entire material, and provided them the weightage. Like 12% it has given the weightage to the outbound delivery process, 12% and more it has given to the inbound. Then other topics like labor management, MFS basically has a different module as of now in EWM, so we will not be covering. But yes, we can give a very high level understanding of MFS on this. MFS basically used for the conveyor system, automatic conveyor systems and all, where we have those. So this is the course content, okay, that we will be covering in this particular uh, in this training sessions. Okay, now coming to the basic of the warehouse. Okay, what is warehouse all about? So warehouse is basically helps in managing the goods in the more optimum way. Okay, more optimum way means that within the warehouse we have no different structures. Okay, different structures means we have storage types where we have no big racks. Okay, and in those racks we are placing those materials. So those big racks, not only the big racks, but there are no different type of storage, different storage type we have, like bulk storage, open storage means we are keeping the material in the open spaces. Okay, bulk storage when we have the bulky materials and how we are not keeping those materials into the warehouse. So we have different type of different storage type in this. So out of those we have another storage type known as racks. Okay, so suppose we want to bring the material into the warehouse or into the storage location. So how we can keep those? So we have options in warehouse management to keep the material into the specific storage type, and within that storage type we have further segregation based on the storage sections. Storage section means that I'm dividing the entire storage type into different sections, like fast moving materials, slow moving materials, and medium moving materials. Fast moving materials means, suppose we have like nuts, bolts, okay, washers. Okay, these are the fast moving materials that are used quite oftenly during the production sites and all. So we basically keep those materials into the fast moving areas. These fast moving areas are simply more accessible for the users, okay, or for more accessible for the warehouse operators to pick. Slow movings are the bulky materials that we generally keep it on the top of the racks. Okay, for those materials we need some devices like forklifts and something that basically helps the operator to pick those materials, okay, from the warehouse. So optimum way I mean to say is that we have the entire warehouse, and that warehouse is basically divided into different structures like storage type, storage section, and storage bin. Okay, so when I'm placing the material into the storage type, I should know that where I'm putting those materials, and when I need to pick those material, the system can easily guide me that from where I can pick those materials. Okay, apart from the normal materials we have no different materials, different type of material like the hazardous materials and the chemical materials. So we never keep those materials with the other materials. Okay, they have a different place in the warehouse, so and different places and different structures. Okay, so there are some special norms that has now set by each and every country, okay, while placing those hazardous and the chemical materials, and have the different structures. Okay, so accordingly we can place those materials. Those materials have a different doors from where we receive those materials into the warehouse, and different outbound doors to move the material out of the warehouse. Okay, apart from that, if we talk about inventory management and warehouse management, in inventory management we do not have this flexibility to keep the material into the different storage type and storage sections. So for inventory management it is completely a black box. So when we are placing the material into the storage location in the IM, that is material management process. Okay, so we can simply do the good reset, and when we bring the material into the storage location, we do not have such flexibility to keep those materials into the storage types, storage section, and storage bin. Whereas in warehouse, yes, we have those flexibilities, we have those functionalities where we, once we bring the material into the storage location, we have different options to place the materials. Okay, and this will help system to understand where we have keep the material, and while picking, system will guide us from where we can pick the materials. I'll show with some of the screenshots in little detail. Okay, about EWM, why EWM comes into the picture. Okay, though we have already have the warehouse management system in place, who is already catering the industry needs. EWM basically come up with a long range of standard solutions, okay, that basically fulfill the current and the future warehouse complexities. So there are a lot of things that were missing in the standard warehouse solution that we were running since I think first WM system was implemented in 1997. Okay, from SAP. So since 1997 we are running those solutions. okay. But later, we get to know, means one SAP have understood that there are some of the complex solutions that are still running in the warehouse that this warehouse management system is not able to cater. So that's why they bring this EWM system with long range of standard solutions, so we no need to develop those solutions. So the costing part to develop those solutions can be removed, okay, if we implement those EWM system. Apart from that, EWM system has a very well known integration functionalities, okay. So it can easily integrate with third party systems, okay. And we can simply we have some switches in the EWM system through which we can connect with the third party system or the third party conveyor systems and all, or the automated systems. This EWM system is also known as supply chain management execution system. Why it is known as execution system? Because uh, all the operations in the warehouse basically perform under this EWM system. That's why it's known as execution system. If we talk about the APO is all about the planning. So APO is also known as SCM planning. So all the planning part, okay, from where we need to bring the material, from which source we need to bring, okay, how we can plan those materials. So everything will be performed under the APO. So that is all about the planning. And execution means how we are executing the things, how we are operating the things, how we are issuing the materials, how we are placing the materials in the warehouse. So all these things will be done under the warehouse activities or warehouse management tool. And that's why EWM is quite advanced with this. So that's why it's known as, also known as SCM execution tool. All the transactions in EWM basically starts with this
Nitin,
slash.
can I
Yes,
ask
yes.
something? Are we also going to understand APO in between?
No, APO is not under the code's scope as of now.
Okay.
Yeah,
Because generally this
because
supply chain management tool is known as APO, if I'm correct.
yes, supply chain management tool basically have different sets in it. Okay, so one set is APO, that is basically deals in planning of activities. Another set of supply chain management tool is EWM, that is basically used for execution. Okay,
Hmm.
and there are other things like transportation management is also the part of SCM now. Okay, so these are the different sets, or you can say modules within the supply chain management, okay,
Yeah.
that has their own different activities. So APO is more into the planning, EWM
Yeah,
is
yeah,
more into the
exactly.
execution. Yeah.
APO is
And then
more into
TM,
planning, right?
yes, yes.
So are we going to cover that or we are not going to cover that?
No, planning is basically derived from the sales side and the production planning side.
Hmm.
It has no link with a warehouse side. Okay.
Okay,
So
all right.
whenever we
Got
are
it.
doing the production planning, for the production planning, we have to think that what all vendors we have, can we send an order to those vendor? Do we have the capacity to build this material in our production area, or we are already loaded with other operations or other materials to be delivered to the customer? So all those plannings will be done under the APO side, okay. Which all vendor we have which can deliver the material faster, okay, which route we can follow to bring the material to our warehouse in a faster way. So all this planning, networking planning, okay, heuristic planning, everything will be planned under APO. And then the execution part will be done under the EWM, that how we can store the material, how we can execute this material, how we can manage this material within the warehouse, which operation we can perform for this particular material, how we can do the good issue. And this SCM is also now connected with the transportation management, okay. So now actually this transportation management is a different module, but we can now simply integrate this EWM with transportation management, so that you can now able to track the transportation unit. Okay, whenever the material comes with the transportation unit, you can track those transportation unit. And whenever you are now issuing the material, and when you are loading the material into the transportation unit, or you can say the trucks and the carriers, then you can track those things also. And then from there the transportation management starts, your freight activities and settlement and other things will start from there. So
Yeah.
we have in SCM we have different sets, I would say. So all the transactions in EWM, at least 95, I would say 95% of the transactions in EWM starts with slash and slash SCWM. And then the the process that we are performing, followed by the process. Okay. Now coming to the warehouse history. Initially we do not have the warehouse management system. So whenever we are receiving any material into the storage location, we could not able to track those materials where we are placing this. Okay. And what operations we are performing on this particular material, we could not able to track all those. Then SAP basically come up with this lean WM management. So lean WM management is basically help us to perform the inbound and outbound process flows only. So when we are receiving the material into the warehouse and when we are issuing the material into the warehouse, only those two activities we can track. Apart from that, other activities within the warehouse, we are not able to track in this lean warehouse management system. Okay, so lean warehouse management means only you can track two activities. One is the inbound, when you are receiving the material from the vendor, okay, into the warehouse, you can track that activity. And when you are issuing the material from the warehouse to the customer, you can track the other activity. These two activities only. Within the material movement within the warehouse and the other operations, we cannot track in lean warehouse management. Then warehouse management was introduced. It was introduced with the structural format, like when we are placing the material in the warehouse, we can place it into the different storage type based on the material characteristics. If the material is bulky, we can place it into the bulk storage type. If material is quite, no, if we are placing assemblies and we want to place it into the open storage, then we have the open storage with us. If we want to place the material into the racks, then we have rack storage type with us. Okay, want to place material in different pallets and handling unit, we have that pallet storage types into that. Okay, and within that pallet storage type, we have different functionalities. Within racks, we can have different sections like high moving, slow moving, and medium moving materials. Okay, accordingly we can place those materials. Bulky items, we place it into the slow moving materials. Nut bolts, washer, and other high frequency material that are quite oftenly used in the warehouse operations, day to day operations, we keep it into the high frequency sections. Okay. And the medium moving means like coil, your wires, cables that are not oftenly used, but yes, use once in a week or something, we can keep it into the medium moving sections. So your entire, you can say your entire your I'll show one screen. So this is I'm talking about the racks. Okay, this is how this warehouse layout look like. So these are the racks. Okay, so we can place these materials in these particular racks. These are the storage type. We have different storage type. We can have racks, we can have open storage type. These we call it as open storage type also, where we can keep the material in the open areas. Okay, and we have bulk storage where we have bulky materials. Okay, so suppose this is the bulky material or assembly, so you can keep it into the bulk storage type kind of. Now within this particular rack, if you want to place the materials, how you will place it? Okay, these racks are, you can suppose it is around now 18 or 20 feet long. Okay, high in height, sorry. So how you will place this material, what strategy you will use? Suppose you have nut bolt or washers or very small material that you use quite frequently within the warehouse, where you will keep those materials. Generally we keep these materials in the load section, so that's we call it as high moving sections. High moving section means you can easily pick those materials from this particular racks. Okay, and then you can consume it into the production, or you can take those materials in your day-to-day activities. Suppose if you keep those nut washers or bolts or other small high moving items at the very no at the upper part of this racks, then it will be very difficult for you or for the warehouse operator to pick those materials. Okay, so for every time to pick those high frequency materials, you have to use these forklifts. Okay, so you bring those forklifts, you have to pick those pallets from the warehouse, open those pallets, pick the nut bolts, and then take it to the production site. So that's why what we generally do in the warehouse, we divide the entire storage type into different sections. So you can say three sections we can divide off. One is the upper section, that is the slow moving materials, where we keep all the bulky materials, okay, or the materials that we do not use oftenly, okay. Then the medium moving materials we can keep it into the mid, and the fast moving materials we can keep it into the at the lower sections of the rack. So this is, we call it as storage section. So entire storage type is further divided into the storage section. So whenever I want to pick the nut bolts, I know that yes, the material will be keep under the fast moving section, so I can directly go over here in the fast moving section. I will not take the help of forklifts or something. I'll not waste my time in that. Then within this we have the storage bins. So if you can see, these are the bins we have, okay. These small things are the bins where we have keep the material. So this is how the warehouse management or warehouse your tool is designed. So entire tool is now structured into different part. One is the storage type, then storage section, and then the storage bin. Within these sections, if you can see, there are no different bins, different boxes are there. So under which box you will be placing those material, what strategy you will be using, okay. Every time if you want to bring the material into the warehouse, you want, every time you want a new box or new place to put, or you can use an existing box to place those material if the box still has capacity to place those materials. So these are the different strategies we have in the warehouse to put the materials, okay. We'll talk about this strategy in little detail, okay, later when we come to this good receipt part and good issue part. But just for the high level understanding, this is how this storage type or warehouse look like. So coming to the history again, then after this warehouse management, that basically brings a lot of functionalities like to keep the material in a more structured way. Okay. After that, we have this decentralized warehouse management that was introduced. So it was basically a separate system, okay, through which we were dealing. So we have the ECC system. ECC means where we have common modules like MM, WM, FICO, that is financial system module, then sales and distribution. So they were dealing with this decentralized warehouse management system. So whenever we want to send a request, whenever there is an inbound delivery, whenever there is a material that is coming into the warehouse, we send the request to this decentralized warehouse management system. So why we keep this decentralized management system as as a separate system, just to increase the efficiency of ECC system. Okay, so whenever there is a downtime, okay, so it should not impact the warehouse management system. So warehouse people cannot continue their work even in the downtime. So we have this downtime plan in SAP. Okay, once whenever we receive a patches or something, okay, so in that particular I think time period, we have to stop the systems for some time. Okay, probably our basis expert, he can help me out in this downtime and all this. But yes, this is that is basically the motto behind this decentral system. So that whenever there is a system downtime, or whenever there is something that happens in SAP system, then this decentralize the other systems that is not connected with SAP can continue operating, or continue with their activities in that. Then after this decentral system, we have this extended warehouse management system. This extended warehouse management systems come up with a lot of functionalities, inbuilt functionalities, that basically helps the industries not to build the functionalities from scratch. So we have this system. So whenever there is a new functionality, or some of the standard or common functionalities in the industries which is not available in the warehouse management system, we have to develop those functionalities from the scratch. This take a lot of time and efforts, okay, and from the costing point of view. But now in the EWM system, those functionalities are already there. Functionalities like value added service, functionality like kitting that we have just discussed, functionality like slotting, functionality like process oriented storage control, functionality like cartonization, functionality like deconsolidations. Okay, so these are the some of the common functionalities that SAP has introduced in EWM management system. Till that, any issues?
No, no, no issue.
Okay, now we were discussing regarding the warehouse layout. Okay, how layout look like. So if you can see, this is how the warehouse generally, most of the warehouse operates in this way. So if we start from here, we have the doors. Okay, so these are the doors, and no, the vehicles comes and attached to these doors, and then we basically load unload
Empty
the
the truck.
material.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Unload the truck.
Yes, we unload the material from this not trucks. Okay, so this is basically the doors that we define in EWM. Okay,
Hmm.
and then these are the areas we call it as the staging area or inbound area. What is this inbound area? Whenever we basically unload the material, whenever we bring the material into the warehouse, okay, we do not directly take it to the storage types. Okay, we first place the material at the inbound staging areas. Okay, we basically look those materials, we do the quality inspection over there. Quality inspection, for the quality inspection we have different rooms also. You can say these are the rooms we have for the quality inspection, but there is some kind of no visual quality inspection that we perform. So while unloading the materials, we basically check if the material is not damaged, if the packing of the material is not properly done, or there is some, or there is some counting issues with the material. Okay, we have ordered 100 material but only 80 materials has been unloaded. So these are the staging area where we basically perform all those visual quality inspections. Okay, and then the rigorous quality inspection like chemical test or other activities, we basically take it to the quality inspection areas. Okay, so there are two things that we generally perform. So when we unload those materials, these are the doors through which we can where the trucks basically arrive and they unload the material, and this is the area where we do the staging. That is the inbound staging. Inbound means we are receiving the material and we are keeping the material at this particular area. That is the initial area within the warehouse where we have a dedicated area in the warehouse where we keep all those materials. Okay, for some time. Then once we do the quality, once we do the inspection, visual inspection of this material, then we take those material to the respective centers. If the material is subject to the quality inspection and we want to perform some rigorous qualities on the material, okay, check with different tools, or we want to calibrate, do the calibrations of the materials or do the chemical test, then we take them to the quality inspection area also. Okay, so we have dedicated areas. So once the quality inspection is done, then we basically take it to the storage types. Okay, if some of the materials get rejected from the quality inspection, then we can take it to the rejection storage type. Okay, so from the rejection storage type, we can then bring the material, we can send the material back to the vendor. Okay, so this is how the layout basically works. So as I said, these are the doors, these are the staging area. Okay, where we basically place all the material initially. Then at the other part of the warehouse, there is another outbound area. Okay, so outbound area is that we want to pick the material for the customer. Okay, the customer demands the material, and we pick the material from the storage type, and then we take it to the outbound area. It's not like this, we are not directly picking the material and no we are picking the material and directly taking it to the outbound area, and then then load the material into the truck and then perform the issue. It's not like this. We basically pick the material, take it to the outbound area, we keep the material over there. Okay, then we plan the material how we want to issue those materials. Okay, if the material belongs to the same no areas, you can say the same pin code, or based on the routing. Okay, we basically club those materials and then place it into the truck, and from there it basically perform the issue. Okay, so likewise the things happens in warehouse management. So we have the staging areas like inbound staging area and outbound staging area where we perform the good issue. Then these are the storage types, as I've said. Okay, so before placing the material to the storage type, if we have some kind of inspections we need to perform, or deconsolidation we need to perform. So what is this deconsolidation? Deconsolidation means that we have received the material in a big pallet. Okay, suppose I have a cricket kit. I have ordered a cricket kit to my vendor. Okay, so what vendor does, vendor basically pack the entire kit has helmet, kit has bat, kit has pad, okay, gloves, everything, and they have packed it into the pallets. Okay, a big pallet is there, so he bring that big pallet. Okay, we have unload that pallet from the carrier and then place it over here in the staging area. Now, before taking that entire big pallet to the quality inspection, what I need to do, or what operator need to do, he will break that pallet. He will break that pallet, and then what he will do, he will club all the materials, like he will keep all the helmets in one pallet or in one box. He will keep all the cricket balls in one box. He will keep all the bats, cricket bat, in one box. He will keep all the gloves in one box, and then take those boxes, individual boxes, one is cricket bat, one is ball, one is gloves, to the quality inspection area. So breaking of big pallet, okay, into different pallets, into the small pallet of same material, is known as deconsolidation in EWM. Okay, so such kind of activities we basically perform in the dedicated work center. So for deconsolidation we have work centers, for quality inspection we have work center, for packaging we want to perform packaging. Suppose this is a packing work center. So what packing does, we got a requirement from the customer to know to deliver 10 materials. So what we do, we basically pick those materials from the storage type, okay, bring to this packing area or packing work center, and then the team, they will pack those materials into the specific, as per the specific requirement of the customer, okay, and then ship to the, and then place it into the outbound staging area. And from there the operator will pick the material and load it into the truck and then perform the good issue. So these are the different work centers that we have in the warehouse management system, in EWM management system, not into the warehouse management system also. Okay, then apart from that, I think this is the major things that we have in the warehouse layout as of now. Okay, on the right hand side, if you can see, this is the layout specifically for EWM, as I said. So we have doors here. So this is my layout. Okay, this entire warehouse layout is basically divided into subsections or sub operations, you can say. So we have the truck that arrives, okay, and it plays at the door. We unload the materials and keep it into the staging area, that is, we call it as inbound area. And then from the inbound area, suppose we receive the materials in big pallets, okay, and all the materials are basically clubbed or packed in under one big pallet, then we take it into the deconsolidation area. We break that big pallet, okay, segregate the material, and then pack the common material or same material in one box, and then take it into the quality inspection if the material is subject to quality inspection. If not, then we can directly take it into the racks or the storage type. These are the racks and the storage type that I'm talking about. And then suppose I receive a sales order from the customer, okay, and they demanded 10 materials. So what I will do, against that sales order, I will pick those materials, bring it into the packing area, pack those materials, and then bring it into the outbound area. And once the material reaches at the outbound area, then the truck will be there, okay, we will place the material in those trucks, okay, in the carriers, and then we perform the good issue. So this is how the warehouse works, or the operation works in the EWM system. Talking about the structures of the warehouse, okay, as we just discussed in my previous slides, that we have, sorry, these are actually the racks, okay, uh, or you can say the storage types in the warehouse. You can club these two racks and now name it as one storage type, or you can name it as individual storage type, like storage type 1, storage type 2, storage type 3. And you can call it as a storage sections. These are the storage sections, you can say. So accordingly, you can plan to put your material in the warehouse. Like this is the fast moving materials or the section, these are the medium moving sections, and these are the slow moving sections that basically use once in a blue moon, or once in a week, or once in a month. For the no, segregation of the structure of warehouses, this is the racks, these are the sections, and under the sections we have the bins. Okay, so these are the storage bin. Within the section we place the bin. So you can see over here, these are the bins. If you can see these individual pallets, if you can see, these are the bins, or you can call it as one bin. These if you can see over here, so this is one bin. Okay, within that bin you can keep those materials. This is one bin, you can keep those materials. Okay, this is one bin, this is a big bin, you can say. So this is one bin, and you can keep those materials in this bin. So we have in the warehouse for WM and for EWM the structure is same. Okay, there is a slight difference. We'll come into the difference in the later slide, but from the structure point of view, we have storage type. Under the storage type we have storage sections where we can now place the material. Under the storage section we have the storage bins. Okay, so I want to place the material. I'll now come to this particular storage type. I can now, based on the material characteristic, I can choose the storage section, and under the section, I can find out where I can place the material, under which bin I can place the material, and accordingly, I can feed those information in the system. So next time when I want to pick those materials, system can guide me that you can pick the material from the respective storage bin. Okay, and then you can take it to the outbound area and place it over there, and from there you can do the good issue. So this is the storage structure of warehouse. Now, coming to the difference between IM, WM, and EWM. So before that, I just know take you through this part. Okay, the difference between inventory management, that is the material management in SAP, then the warehouse management in SAP, and the EWM in SAP. So suppose I want to bring the material into the warehouse. Okay, and this warehouse is basically you can say we do not have the warehouse over here, but only a storage location. Okay, so when I bring this material into the storage location, inside this storage location I could not track anything. Okay, because this is material management module, this is IM side of the SAP. So under the IM side we do not have the well structure of the materials. Like we do not have the storage types defined in the system, we do not have the storage sections and storage bin. So the moment I bring the material, I can place the material in the storage type. Suppose in a day I have 20 trucks of different materials like A, B, C, D. Okay, and I'm placing those material in one storage location, but I could not, no, there is no different structures or proper structure in the storage location. Okay, like storage type, storage section. So it will be difficult for operators to understand that where we have keep those materials. So if you can see over here, what things we cannot track in the IM side or from the material management side, where we have placed the material on from where we need to pick the material. Then the second thing that we could not track is the different operations. Like I bring the material and first keep it into the storage section, that is the inbound section. But that thing I could not track in the SAP MM, that is material management module. Then I want to do the quality inspection. Okay, so that quality inspection area, if it is there in the storage location in the big warehouse, I could not track it because I do not have that functionality in the IM side. Then the same other operation like outbound and the keep the material in the different storage type and section, that things I cannot track in the IM. So that's why WM comes into the picture. So if I go into the WM side and see, this is how WM looks, the basic SAP WM, not EWM but WM. Okay, so what things we can track in WM? So we have doors. Okay, we have doors everywhere. Okay, the structure is you can see structure is same, the physical structure is same, but in system we cannot track these things. Like doors we cannot track, inbound outbound area we cannot track, we cannot track the storage bins in the system, but physically structure is same everywhere. Now suppose if we have implemented the WM in this particular storage location, what happens? Now what we can track, we cannot track doors. Okay, if the material comes into the trucks and trucks reaches at the door, we cannot track at which door the material is placed or material is now standing, or the truck is standing. Okay, then things we can track is we can move the material into the staging area, so that part is there in WM, standard WM system. Then we can bring the material to the quality inspection area, that part is also there in the warehouse management system. And then we can place the material in the storage types. So these are the different storage types, like we have racks, big racks, small racks, bulk storage, open storage. Okay, so we can track the staging. We can bring the material to the inbound staging area, then take it to the quality inspection area in the warehouse management system. And then from the quality inspection, once the material is approved, we can bring it to the storage types to place the material. That is the final area where we place all those materials, we keep the materials. Okay, and then if we want to pick the material, we can pick those materials from the storage type and bring to the good issue area. But we cannot track other activities like deconsolidation, value added service, packaging. Okay, those activities we cannot track in warehouse management system. So if you could, if we can see the process, warehouse process, we do the good receipt, we perform the inbound area, and then bring the material to the racks. Other operations, sub operations, like deconsolidation, value added service, kitting, packaging. Okay, these things we cannot track. So to overcome that, we have EWM now. So in EWM, if you can see, we have received the material, we are receiving the material, or material is coming in truck, and truck is basically standing at door 3. So that activity we can track in EWM. Okay, so suppose we have a very big warehouse. If you have seen the good year, those are basically and manufacturing of tires. So if you can see, in Maharashtra, they have a warehouse of it's around 1 kilometer big warehouse. Okay, I've personally seen that warehouse. So it is 1 kilometer big warehouse and have around 50 doors. So suppose my material is coming in different trucks. So how can I track which material is coming in which truck, and which, and where it is standing, at which door it is standing? So those information we can track in EWM. So the door part we can track, which we could not track in WM. Okay, so those part we can track in EWM, that is door, at which door the material is standing, or at which door the truck is standing. Then the unloading point, that is the staging area, we can track. Okay, from staging area I'm bringing the material to the deconsolidation area to break the big pallet. Okay, and then packing it into the different small uh, uh, packs. Okay, so that operation I can track in EWM. From deconsolidation, the material will move to the quality inspection, so I can track this activity also. So if you can see, this is how the process is going for a particular material. Okay, so the first process is it will come to the door, then bring it to the staging area. From the staging area, it is must for the material to go to the deconsolidation area. So it will go to the deconsolidation area, then it will go to the quality inspection area if the material is subject to the quality inspection, and then it will come to the storage type, the final storage type. So being as a warehouse manager or the operator, from the RF devices or from the system, I can easily track where my material is. Is it at the door, is it at the deconsolidation area, or is it at the quality inspection area, or it is in the storage type, and in which storage section and under which bin it is. Okay, so I can track all those. Now I want to pick the material and send it to the customer, so I'll take it first to the value added service. If the I before sending it to the customer, I purchase the material directly from some other vendor. Okay, and I do not want to send it as it is. So what I want to paste my company label on that particular material. So before sending it to the customer, what I'll do, I'll go to the value added service, I will do my labeling over there in the value added service. Okay, and then take it to the packing station, and from the packing station I will bring it to the good issue area, and from the good issue area I will now identify which door should be applicable for this particular material. If it is a hazardous or chemical material, then we have a specific door in warehouse, we cannot use the common doors. So we have such kind of doors also, so we can track up to that particular level in EWM. That's why this EWM has this magic of process driven approach. So why it is a process driven approach? Because there is a difference between the WM and EWM. In WM, you can see the process is good receipt, then inbound and the racks. Other operations we cannot track. Deconsolidation, quality inspection we can track in WM also, but deconsolidation and other their cartonization, then packing activities, then value added services, then kitting, all these things we cannot track in this. But in WM we can track. Inch by inch material moves in the warehouse, we can track. If there is a lift between, if suppose this entire warehouse is divided into two floors, okay, I'll just, okay, so this is my first floor, this is my second floor, my layout is changing, so accordingly I can now set it. Like I'm receiving the material from the D door. I've received the material in the inbound staging area, then deconsolidation area, bring it to the quality inspection, and now the material will be go to the first floor. It will not be no store at the second, at the ground floor, but I want to take the material or do the put away. Put away means I'm placing the material. So this is a terminology of warehouse management in SAP known as put away. Put away means I'm placing the material in the warehouse. So whenever I'm doing a put away, I want to put away this material at the second floor, so my layout is getting changed in the warehouse. So that activity, up to that activity I can track. So to bring the material to the second floor, I'm using lifts, I'm using conveyor belts, so I can keep the material in the lift. So that lift activity is also getting tracked in EWM. So it will show you that the material is in lift 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Okay, and then when it moves to the second floor, and when you are now picking the material out from the lift, you can scan those materials. It will get tracked that material is now at near the lift only. It is now reaches at the second floor, but it is next to the lift only, means a place where we know unload those materials from the lift, and from that area we call it as ID points. Okay, identification point. So we pick the materials from the lift, keep it at some place, okay, and then from there we take it to the storage type. So up to these activities, this much activities we can track in EWM. That's why this EWM is basically now showing its magic in nowadays in the manufacturing areas, because these are the complexities that system or manufacturing companies has that WM could not track or cater. And you forgot about this IAM is purely a black box. You cannot track these activities. Once you
Nitin,
put the
just
material, it lost.
hello.
Yes, yes, yeah.
This part, the last part which you were explaining about when the goods arrive at the port, and then we use the belt also, right?
Conveyor belts, yes.
Conveyor belts. So that at the conveyor belt, we also have the scanning system. Like people are standing
Yes,
to scan it, and when we scan, we get the information about that product, that where it is coming from, and all the
y-
um, specific things about the product, right?
yes, yes,
And like after this conveyor belt, it goes to the storage point, if I'm correct, or what?
yes, yes, you are correct.
And in SAP EWM, you as a EWM manager will get to know that like the history of the product, where it is coming from and where
Yes,
it has to be deported.
yes, yes,
That is what you wanted to establish here, right?
yes, yes. So if you can see, you have correctly mentioned one point over here, that how this conveyor belt will be tracked. Okay, suppose I'm receiving a material. So these are my storage type. I have now defined everything in EWM with the help of storage type. Like staging area have one storage type number, that is 9002. Then the conveyor belt has the storage type number 9003. Then the final storage type where I'm placing the material finally will have the storage type numbers as 9004, I would say.
Hmm.
And then we have QI areas with 9005 and other areas, okay, like decon and all. These are basically the work center, but I'll mention it with the storage type. So I receive material here. Okay, it will first bring to this 9002, and from 9002 it will come to the conveyor belt. We'll put the material at the conveyor belt. So where is my? So if you can see over here, this is my conveyor belt. So these are the conveyor belt, if you can see, right? So these are the staging area. From the staging area, I bring the material over here. I put the material on the conveyor belt, and then from the conveyor belt, it will go, okay, and reaches to the point, and from here the operator will pick and place it into the store. Now at this particular point also we have the scanning devices. So first scanning will be happen at the door. I scan the material, okay, and put it into the staging area. So once I
Yeah, yeah,
put it into
exactly.
the staging area, I will scan the material and it will get tracked into the system that now
Yeah.
material is at the staging area.
My
Now I will
question
bring
from
them.
you,
Yes.
my question is like when we scan that, when we
Hmm.
scan at this entry level, when it is getting unloaded from the truck or any vehicle, and we
Hmm.
are going to put this in the staging area, when the people are scanning that material, will that um detail of that product is going to appear or to the SAP or what?
Yes, it will appear. Generally, no, in most of the organization, I have seen that at this particular point, when we are
Mm-hmm.
unloading the material from the truck, we are not doing any scanning activities. Okay, it is the moment we do the good reset, it will we perform the unload over here, and it will
No, but
be
we do
dumped
that
in.
actually. In our
Okay, you do
company,
that.
we do because when we have the trucks coming with the ports, so
Mm-hmm.
there are people standing at the belt and they are also scanning it. So like we have arranged people for the scanning when the trucks arrive with the ports and they
Okay.
scan it. And when
Yes.
when they scan later, we also get to know that this product has arrived at this station. The
Yes.
customer, like where this product has to be delivered finally, that final recipient will get to know that this product has arrived at this station and it is on the way to delivery. It might take, for example, like 2 days, and customer will get to know the next step of delivery where it is on the way.
Yep. Yeah. 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 Exactly.
So I
So,
would like to know this scanning, when we do actually scanning with the help of the barcode, right?
mhm.
Uh, that when we scan that, so it comes to it comes to the SAP system, the
Yes.
information
What
about the
happens?
product.
Yes, what happens that no, for each and every material, so on these particular boxes, what we do, we basically paste the labels. Okay, and on those labels we have the barcodes enabled. That barcode basically help in scanning. Okay, so whatever the scanners we have, we can
Hmm.
once we scan those barcodes in system or on the this RF screens. We have the RF screens also. Okay, so on those screens we the information regarding the material get reflected. Okay, so these are the list of the materials that is there in this particular box and so quantity. Okay, now where you want to place those materials. Okay,
Hmm.
so system will automatically propose you the second step, because this is how I have not defined the configuration in the system. Whenever this material will come, it will first come to the staging area, so it will automatically propose you to put the material at the staging area. So I'll scan over here, there is some barcode over here in this particular area, so I will scan that. So the moment I scan this, it will perform the confirmation of the material that I have placed the material over here. Now from here I will pick the material, take it over here. There is another you can see the scanner is available. So once I place the material, I have to scan those things. Okay, so scanning means when I'm scanning this, it will basically define me that from this particular storage type, that is a staging storage type, I'm taking the material to the conveyor storage type now. And then I put the material over here, and then the material travels over here and reaches to this particular point. We call it as ID point. Okay, and we pick the material from the conveyor. So once we are picking the material from the conveyor, we have to scan again the
We
ID
also
point.
have actually, Nitin, we also have people standing at the ID points. They
Yes,
collect
yes,
the products and they also make the pallets and put it in the storage where it
yes,
is.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so these are the basically the ID points where now the material reaches at the final point of the conveyor belt, and we have
Mhm.
the operators. They pick the materials. Okay, scan the ID points. That means now the material is picked from the conveyor and is available at the ID point, and then they will take the material inside in the warehouse in the storage type, and then they place the material in the storage type, and then they scan the
Yeah,
storage bin. So once they
yeah,
scan the bin, it confirms that the material is now placed in the storage bin. So this is how the things goes in EWM, whereas in WM also.
yeah.
So did I answer your question?
Yeah, I think you have answered the question.
Okay.
I also have some confusion, when we
Hmm,
have this transaction happening in the warehouse with the help of
hmm,
this scanning facility and all. Do
hmm.
we also attach this SAP information with with the recommended website, so that the
Website.
so that the recipient gets to know through the website actually?
Okay, I'll show you one thing.
You know what my question is?
You want to say that whenever we are scanning the things, the information will be available on a certain website, and the recipient can see those information, right? This is what you
Yeah,
mean to say?
exactly. Because
Okay.
generally, for example, if I am the warehouse manager, right, and
Hmm,
I am taking care of all the arrivals at the port, at the station, and you are, for example, a recipient, you are expecting a product to be delivered to you, right?
hmm,
Then
hmm,
generally what happens, whatever is the transaction status, recipients
hmm.
gets to know step by step that where your product is at this point of time. So when we
Yes,
do a
yes.
scan, we get the information that this product is has arrived at this station. What my question is, like, SAP is doing all these things, right? Whatever is happening
Yes,
into this
yes.
process. But
Hmm.
my question is, do we also attach this SAP at the backend with with certain recommended website through which the recipient is getting to know the information about the product, and he is able to keep a normal track?
Okay, in EWM, there is no such websites, okay,
Okay.
where we are now sending the information. In EWM, we have this no scanning functionalities inbuilt. Okay, so whenever we are scanning the thing, suppose my purchase order is there, I'm scanning that purchase order. So the
Hmm.
all the information of that purchase order will be stored in EWM tables only, in SAP
Hmm.
table only, and
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
there, from that tables only, we can easily retrieve the information to check where this material is. So there is no specific third party websites where we are not sending those information. Okay, but it is directly saving all the information during the scanning and the confirmation of the material. It is all storing in the EWM tables only, because this EWM and the scanning is now integrated. Initially in the warehouse management solutions, we do not have this directly integration of scanners with WM systems. So in those cases, we use the third party systems like Vitron and all these things. So we send those information to Vitron, and then Vitron basically send it to SAP like this. The ping pong happens. But in EWM, we directly store the information in EWM tables only, in SAP tables only. So no such websites we have. If you want to no, bring the information to the website, you can do that, but you have to do some customizations. You have to build those screens and send the information during the OData service and all. So nothing is
Okay.
impossible. You can send that.
Yeah, yeah. I was just, it's just because this question has arrived in my mind because I am working with a logistic company. It's actually
Hmm,
basically a shipping company, right? So
hmm,
my area is not with the product. Of course, I have idea about the warehouse also, whatever you have shown in the list about the products. But I'm
hmm,
working only in a shipping company, so you can name it as a third party.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
so I know this process, and I also know the other process which you have shown in the warehouse.
Hmm,
So that is why
hmm,
I'm just trying to correlate, because in my company, what happens when certain parcel or some products arrives at the station, we have people at the belt. They also scan, and we get to know that this product is at certain station, and that
yes.
information also attached to the website where because normally what happens when a customer needs to send
Okay.
certain parcel, they have some tracking number, and with the help of that
Hmm.
tracking number, they get to know about the position and the location of the product on the way.
Okay, so there is two things. Okay, I would say uh, internal movements of warehouse we generally do not show it to customer. I'm not sure if that happens in your company
No, 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 no,
because
no, no, no. What you
yeah.
have, I've totally understood. I'm actually combining these two things,
Ah,
and
then it's
these are
fine. Then it's fine. Yes, yes. Because we have a different shipping company over here. Suppose this is my shipping company. Okay, and whenever I do an inbound, okay, or whenever I'm doing an outbound, Okay, suppose I've done an outbound. The customer send me an order. Okay, this is my customer. I'll take it with a different color now. So my customer has sent me an order. Okay, and this is my shipping company also. So customer send me an order. So and sales order is sent to us. Okay, now we want to pick the materials. So when we pick the material, there is an IDOC that will get triggered. Okay, and this IDOC will be sent to the customer that the order is picked. Okay, so these are the third party scenario, third party, you can say logistics, 3PL we call it as.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
exactly. I got your point.
those information will be sent to the customer. They will send information like picking is done on so and so date at so and so time. Now after this, when we do the good issue, okay, so the material is at the good issue area, or these all these information we do not disclose it with the customer. Whenever there is a shipping company will come into the picture, and they will now arrange a load, means truck over here. If there
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
load number or the shipping ID that will be generated, so that shipping number is also now sent to the customer at that time. As soon as it's generated in the system, it will be sent to the customer that this is the shipping ID that you can use for your tracking. So picking is done, shipping ID is done, means shipping ID is created, and your load is ready for issue. Okay, and then you will this truck will follow a particular route. Okay, so there are certain routes and legs that will be created. So different ports through which it will go, and all those information will be sent to the customer. So there are three routes to reach to the customer, or 3 points through which it will reach to the customer. So from route 1 to route 2, the moment it comes to route 2, then again a IDOC will trigger and send to the customer that it's now reaches to Germany port, or you can say somewhere else. Okay, Germany port, and from there it will then load it into the truck, and then bring it to the customer. So again, when it load it into the truck, then again the IDOC will send to the customer, and then customer will get keep on updated with this tracking information. So these things are there, but those things are basically part of transportation management. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
it
exactly. I
yes,
understood that.
yes,
Yeah. I was just trying
yes,
to speculate that what is going to happen and how it takes place. Yeah, it's
yes,
fine, no
yes. So
problem.
once you club this EWM with transportation management, then you will get to understand the magic. Okay, as of now these are the two different systems,
Yeah, yeah,
and
it's
this
fine.
TM we have keep it out of scope as of now. Okay, so that is and these are the RF scanners that we use, okay, in
Yeah, yeah,
EWM
exactly.
and
Yeah,
warehouse
that's
management.
right.
And through this we can now see everything,
And
everything we
now
can
this
see.
RF scanner has even changed. It was before like up to like six, like last up to last year we
Yeah,
have used such a
yes,
scanners,
now
but
it
now we
is,
have
yes.
changed the physical um, look of this scanner. We have
We
more
have
or less
different scanners,
tunable tracker.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
We can use different scanners. Okay, we have forklift scanners also. So simply we have no scanning scanners with us that do not have screens, but we keep those screens on the forklift. Okay, those are the big screens that no warehouse operator can easily see what is no displaying on the screen. So there are different type of scanners. We can connect Bluetooth scanner with the screens. We can have such kind of I'm not sure what is the name of the scanner, but yes, there is NTT 900 scanners that we generally use. Okay, so you can have different scanners that we can use during the
Yeah,
warehouse
yeah.
operations.
It's fine. Yeah. And
Okay,
I've got
so
another
yeah,
question from you.
yes, yes,
Mm,
no problem. Yeah, go ahead.
like we are covering this EWM right now. We would like to
Hmm.
know. I would like to know how much time will it take to cover the entire this EWM in order to get the what you call that. Um, we do
The entire
also,
course,
yeah,
the
yeah, the
entire
T
course.
codes and all. But what is that called? The SAP. When we do that on the SAP, where we get the result. I'm not able to use the correct terms.
Okay, but can you come again with your question? Actually, even I lost something in
My question is like how much time it might take to
Mhm.
get the this EWM. How much time
Okay,
will it?
So generally, I try to complete the sessions in, try to complete it in 20 to 24 sessions. Okay, because
Okay.
these are the initial sessions. Initial sessions are okay, but when we come to the good receipt area, good receipt
Mm-hmm.
process, good issue process, production
Mm-hmm.
process, quality process, those are the big processes. Okay, lot of configuration and of the process understanding we need to understand. So
Yeah, yeah.
those are subdivided into two different sessions, kind of. Okay, so you can say that yeah, around 24 to 25 sessions is required. Why 24 to 25? Because the WM and EWM both are different. In EWM we have lot of processes. Okay, so whatever we are getting from EWM, at least we can cover maximum processes in this.
Would
I
you
can
also be, sorry to interrupt you. My second question is, would you also be correlating with the real-time scenario?
real time scenarios, yes, you will get,
Okay. Would you be
because
also
it's
giving certain?
it's 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 difficult to understand EWM without real time scenarios, I would say.
Yeah, of course. Like it was just my
Yes.
question. And the second is like, would you also be kind of giving some little project which will help us rejuvenate all the process knowledge which you have downloaded to us?
Project, I would say that no, it's difficult to start with the project on the very first day, because the thing
No,
is
no, no,
that
no,
you will be no.
not
Okay,
today, but after, for example, you have covered this EWM.
I can tell you. Okay, you can simply correlate the things with your current process also. Okay, or I
Hmm.
can give you one small project. Okay, you can simply see this layout. You can know understand the project itself. It is a project itself. You do a good reset. You bring the material from the door. It should come to the staging area, then deconsolidation area, then quality inspection. This is one material. Second material will directly come to the staging area and directly save into the storage type. Third
Hmm.
material, it should come to the staging area and it will go to the quality inspection, but not deconsolidation section, because it comes into the single pallets only. So it comes to the quality inspection area and then store into the storage type. So three type of materials you have and three different processes you have in the warehouse. All comes to the staging area, but one goes to deconsolidation, one goes directly to the storage type, one goes to the quality inspection area, then storage type. So such kind of processes are there in every warehouse. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Thanks.
I can give you those project examples. At least
Yeah,
the
yeah.
project that I have worked. Okay, I can give you that. My projects are more complex actually. They are three or five buildings through which we are now transporting the material, or we are managing the materials. Okay, in
Okay.
one of my previous projects, I would say in 2016, I was working with uh, uh, Siemens, and they have warehouse in Kemnath. I think it's in Germany. There is a place, uh, Kemnath. Okay, it's an Indian name, but there is a place, and they have a very
Hmm.
big warehouse, and those
Okay.
warehouse have around not 10 buildings. Okay, through which the material pass. You can say building one, building two, building three, building four, building five, building six, building seven. So each and every building has their own activities. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
the only issue that they have, that from this particular point to the production point, suppose this is a production area where the material will come, from this point to this point, the entire process take around 4 hours to reaches to this point,
Hmm.
and the warehouse manager don't know where the material actually is. So that's why we have implemented EWM over here, so that for each and every building that basically represent a different process, we get to know that where the material is. We can simply track or micromanage the material, or micromanage the tracking of the material in a best way. So no, we have implemented that EWM in Kemnath. There is a big, very big warehouse in Germany.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay, so that is all. We have another friend. You have any question? I,
No, I think it's a good demonstration class today, and but we will also know about all the T codes and the transaction codes and how we create the
yeah,
good
that
receipts and
we get.
everything, right? From the
Yeah.
beginning to the end of this process, right?
Yes, yes, that you will get. I have this now. My PPT have everything. So if I go down, oh, you will start seeing everything over here. It has the I generally use no lot of animation, so it will be no hide behind certain no screenshot, but you will get everything over here in the, from T codes to the process understanding. and to the configuration screens also. So I have everything with me. I have the study materials, I have the materials also. So after every session, no, we have this, no, materials. uh, Let me check my system. So these are the materials you can see, so that you can
Mhm.
refer. Okay, after this, so it is a step by step, configurations and everything you will get over here. So it is quite detailed what configurations you have to do. Process part I will be telling. Okay, I'm not sure process part is there in this, but part I will be telling, but the configuration part and the T code part you will get from these class materials that I have. Apart from that, we will be sharing with you the this SAP material, the SAP EWM book that generally SAP provides. Okay, but the main thing, being as a EWM consultant, I would not like to tell you guys that you should be more focused on the process.
Yeah, of course,
Process,
it is
yeah,
important.
process is very important, and I'll try my best to explain you process in detail. Okay, I just give you a very high level understanding of each and every process. Once we go into the system and go to each and every process, I'll spend more times till you guys reach to some comfortable zone in EW.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, thank you so much, Nitin.
Okay,
I think
yes,
it's
no problem.
nice demo class today.
Yeah, we have another guy, right, in this class. I've not heard anything from him. Is he still there? I'm not
Hi,
sure.
Hemant, you're there? Yeah, is there, is there.
Okay, you have any questions, Hema? Uh, but
Hema, you're
don't
on
worry.
mute. You can unmute.
Yeah. Can I? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. So you have any questions as of now?
As of now, nothing. But only concern from me is like, do I need to concentrate the MM or WM before going to EWM or directly?
No, but once I start with this. Okay, initially for every person, for me also. Okay, it was difficult to digest EWM as a separate thing. Okay, don't club with MM or WM. EWM is little different. I'm always saying this. Okay, initially, for every consultant, for first 2 3 sessions, it is little difficult for them to understand. Okay, but once you start getting the pace, once we are going into the process like good receipt process. Okay, just try to understand on the process. Whenever you are bringing the material into your house, how you are bringing, you have a big gate. Okay, the first gate, then the second gate. So the first gate is your staging area. Once you bring the material to your first gate, that is your staging area, and then the second gate is your final area. Okay, and then you will take the material and you can place it into the kitchen. In the kitchen you have the modular kitchen. So those modulars are basically the different storage type. You have different sections also. So big materials you will place it on the top, okay, or at the bottom. So just try to correlate the things with this. Okay, I'll try my best to give you the possible scenarios and the process examples. Material management is quite simple. Okay, you can correlate. In the starting of this demo, I have told that material management you can easily correlate with your day-to-day activities. Don't concentrate on other things. Simply relate with the simple materials you are bringing from the DMart and or any of the grocery shops, and you are placing it into your house. How you will place it, where you will place it. Are you doing any inspection before placing it to the into the store? Or your mom is doing any inspection, or your as someone in the house is doing any inspection before placing the material directly into the shelf? So such kind of activities are always there in MM also, material management. So both are same. Okay,
Okay.
apart from that, the storage type, storage section, storage bin, these are the technical things or the structure that we have to we have to understand by heart. Okay, there is no only the logic behind is with SAP, that we have to divide the entire section into small things. Entire kitchen we need to divide into the small things, so that we can easily place the material, and we should know where we are placing the material. If we are placing the sugar in a shelf, we should know in which shelf we have placed those sugar, so that while making the tea we can easily pick those things. Okay, same is for the MMWM. So we have no structured WM in such a way.
Okay.
Okay, so same ways for the WM, EWM, everything is same. Only the process is different. Okay, so process I told you, like deconsolidation. Why deconsolidation is used? To break the entire big pallet into the small pallets, to segregate those materials or make the common materials in one pallet, then take it further. Okay, we generally never know carry the big pallets, okay, and directly bring it to the placement area, right? The material mix of different materials, we cannot bring it. So generally we break those materials. Okay,
Yeah.
like we bring the material from any grocery store. We just segregate those material first before putting it into the kitchen or dumping it into the kitchen. We segregate and
Nathan,
then place it.
uh, I'm sorry
Yes,
to
yes.
interrupt you guys. I need to get to go. Do we have something new
I
to learn
even
today,
no
or
no
it is okay?
no no, but that's my ending for today's session, Hashim.
Okay.
So Hema, don't worry,
I can't
we can
I
yeah.
can't that sign now for further classes and how much as you have given me an idea that it is going to take around 20 to 25 classes, right?
Yes,
Good. So it I think I can expect it this EWN to be covered by August.
by today is it's
Today is
July or
1st of
June.
August, I think, or 31st of
1st of
July, I
August.
think.
Okay, okay. So let
Today is
me
31st
check.
of July.
Yeah,
It's
31st of
31st
July.
today.
So let me check. Then I need to know this schedule the things. How fast we can go. Okay. So there are
Because
different things that we have.
if we keep the classes every day, then according to you, it is going to be covered in 20 to 25 classes. Is that correct or what?
Yes, around you can say 18 to 20 classes are required. Okay, if you
Okay.
take 2 hour session a day, then we can cover it into the in lesser time. But yes, it's all depend how
No,
available you, me, and the other guys.
yeah, yeah, of course, of course. I will let you know about that. But
Yeah,
I
if you
think
want to yeah.
if we take only 1 hour class, Nitin, for example, not more than 1 hour, because for
Mhm.
you it is easy. You are able to go faster. But it is also important for us that how much we are able to grasp in 1 hour. Up
Mhm.
to now, like today's session, whatever you have told, I think I've understood everything. But I just would like to know when you start with the T codes and when you start the processing things, so it could be like a little bit complex to grasp the T codes and the functionality of how the process is moving forward.
What uh, see it is a new screens for you, right? It will take little time in the initial to digest the screens. That what I am hoping. But yes, within means after 2 or 3 sessions or 4 sessions, I think you will start friendly with this SCP screens, and you can
Yeah,
start doing the things. This is what my understanding is. Every new
of course.
subject is basically new. It's take time to digest, okay, 1 or 2 day, and then we start getting friendly with that particular subject, and then we can take the things or digest the things quite easily. So that is basically, I'll not take you, let you in the wrong hopes that you on the very first day you will understand everything, you will be friendly with the SAP system or something. Since you are new to the SAP screen, it will take about 2 or 3 sessions hardly. Okay, that is
All
what
right,
I
great.
understand. Yeah.
Yes, fine. So it's fine, Nitin, and I just would
Okay.
like to say have a good day and see
Yes,
you
you too.
soon again.
Yeah. Okay. Okay then.
Bye
uh
bye.
Hima, Harsham, yeah,
Nitin, I have one
thanks
more.
for your time. Yes,
Nitin, I
yes,
have
yeah,
one
go
more.
ahead.
So,
Yeah, yeah,
so
go ahead.
this one, yeah, many people say like WM will be replaced by EWM, right? By 2020.
WM was replaced by EWM. Yes.
Uh, so, and how about this? Like, which version you will be teaching this EWM? It is
It's
S4.
9.5.
Okay, but
Sorry,
nowadays
which version means? Okay, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
S4 is S4 came into picture, right? So, how do we can
So we
work
are going with S4, S4 only.
S4 which version you are doing?
S4 9.5 as per SAP. This is the latest version that we have from SAP.
Okay, but that means like 1905 or so 9.5 is ECC version.
Hima, your voice is breaking to me. Hello?
Yeah,
Which version?
9.5. Yeah, it is S4 version or ECC.
It's S4 version only 9.5, because this EWM, the decentral version and the SAP S4 version, both are same. There is no much changes in this. Only one or two things are changed. Okay, if you go with the course material also, the course material is also same. Okay, so whatever the course material I'm referring, it is based on the 9.5 only.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So as of now, there is no difference between S4 HANA and EWM. Only one or two things are there that I'll already not tell you when I reach to that particular stage. Okay.
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Yes. Any other questions, Hima?
No, I'm done. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Perfect then. Then I think I'll close this session now. Okay, and then you guys have a good day. Okay. Thank you. Yeah. Bye bye.